Especially notable about this dude is that his music never brought him any type of real money. His songs weren't played on the radio, they weren't backed by any major record company, and for the most part, the only way his music was distributed was by mail orders, small regional channels, and word of mouth. He held regular jobs including manual labor and driving trucks. This man was doing this shit out of pure hatred for black folks. With that understood though, let's get into this episode. It starts off with a flashback from the year 1967 inside a country redneck bar. We are then met by a young Jimmy Rebel. He's having a conversation right before he goes onto stage to make his big debut. Early on in his performance, the crowd gives him a rough time. They ain't really getting jiggy with this shit. But this all changed when he started talking about his hatred for niggas.
YouTube, TikTok, please. I didn't know he was gonna say that.
And Jamal, Orangelo, Mangelo, and Tylenol. Grab an orange soda and a basketball, just leave my daughter be.
They end up loving his performance and they gave him a standing ovation. The show then cuts back to modern day where we see Granddad and Uncle Ruckus having their daily checkers game. Today though, Ruckus is more distracted than usual. We hear him singing off some derogatory words right before Granddad snatches his headphones out of his ears. Now for quick context, if you don't know who Uncle Ruckus is, this is the raccoon of the show.
I am not black, nor do I consider myself to be black. Many people mistake me for being Negro because they don't know that I am currently living with the heartbreak of revitiligo. That's a skin condition that's the opposite of what Michael Jackson's got. Every morning I apply this topical ointment made of bleach and sulfur. I like to think it was.
Granddad ends up asking Ruckus though, what are you listening to? It can't be that good. Ruckus goes on to explain that it is the great Jimmy Rebel. Granddad then proceeds to give this music a try and he is utterly disgusted. Rightfully so. This then sparks an argument between the two because Uncle Ruckus truly idolizes this man. In fact, he inspired his love for the genre of racist music.
Keep them to yourself. Nobody want to hear that shit, you black fool.
Oh yeah? Well, just cause you said that, I'm gonna go home and record them. So there.
Fine, then get the f*** on.
I will.
Fine.
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 Why I feel like I felt they speak though.
We finish this game.
I think it's your move.
The bond between Uncle Ruckus and Robert, aka Granddad, has always been interesting to me. Granddad does despise the way that Ruckus thinks, but they have a bond and it's kind of wholesome. Because of the dispute that he had with Granddad, he decides to record a racist song of his own. He sends this off plus a letter of gratitude to Jimmy Rebel. Jimmy and his team, they give it a listen, and to no surprise, they love it. The next day, he gives him a visit. The only problem is, Jimmy doesn't expect this racist song to be made by a black man. Quickly though Ruckus lies, he ends up saying that the real Uncle Ruckus is a white man that he works for and his name is actually Toby. He also says that he is sick right now with the
Nigerian monkeypox. Very contagious.
What the fuck?
After some convincing, Jimmy finally comes into Ruckus' home. They conversate and they end up realizing that they have a lot of things in common. Before leaving, Jimmy leaves his number so he can speak to Ruckus and get shown around town. The next day, Granddad and Uncle Ruckus meet up for their daily checkers match. Ruckus isn't focusing as much though, and this is because the situation that Ruckus is in.
Have you ever met somebody who seemed to like you, but it's only because they don't know the real you?
Yeah, that's pretty much every woman I've ever dated.
The next morning, Rebel pulls up onto Uncle Ruckus, and this is where we see their bonding session happen. They go to the state fair where we see them eating cotton candy together, getting pictures drawn, riding bikes with each other, watching slave movies, and even sharing ice cream. Pause. They were having so much fun this day that Ruckus stood up Granddad. As they wrap up the day though, Rebel and Ruckus have a conversation that truly strikes home, specifically in 2026.
It's not about the color of a man's skin. It's not the big lips or how y'all say aura instead of
Or
R.
the fact they wear their ass on their shoulders.
Right. Attitude, stupid. A feller can't control what color he is, but he can control his attitude. If all blacks acted like you, Toby, if they worked hard and stopped complaining about every goddamn thing, then we wouldn't have no problem with them at all.
This plays into respectability politics and the whole black fatigue trend. This is my thing, y'all. Stop justifying racism. If someone is racist, they are racist. Take for example, let's go back to the 1960s. Black people were on their best behavior. We were dressing up in suits, being respectful, and things were pretty much segregated. But guess what? Lynchings were at an all-time high, racism was at an all-time high, and people didn't like us.
What do you think of black people?
I don't like them.
Why?
I really don't. Because I just think that they're always looking out to make trouble.
I just could not live beside them. I don't feel that they should be oppressed. But I moved here, one of the main reasons was because it was a white community. And that's the only place I intend to live. If I have to leave Levittown, I will do so.
Personally, my home life, it has an effect nothing whatsoever. But on the neighbors, they have a right. Because the average white person living in Levittown has 4 and 5 children. Well, let's put it this way. if the Levittown is migrated in hordes of Negroes, which they have a right to come here, but if something that happens that way, pretty soon my neighbor will be having a Negro son-in-law or a daughter-in-law.
Now, that was the 1950s, Levittown, Pennsylvania. This country will have us believe that that was so far in the past that those people just disappeared. Now, a lot of folks say it's more about class and less about race, but we see in that example right there that when 1957, even if you had enough class status to be able to live in a neighborhood with those folks in Levittown, they didn't believe you was worthy enough regardless of your job.
As they wrap up this conversation though, Jimmy
That's crazy. That's crazy. Imagine being that dude or that woman or that little boy and you still live in Pennsylvania and that video resurfacing there. You like, bro, I didn't. Nah. And I bet all of them got a lot of black friends now.
that he really wants to talk to Ruckus. Ruckus agrees because in the back of his mind he has a plan. He ends up going to Granddad's house and
1950s, they not live. My fault.
convinces him to play Uncle Ruckus that is sick upstairs in the bedroom. He'll talk through the door because he's too sick, and this should cover up everything. Once Jimmy arrives, pretty much everything goes smooth. They speak through the door back and forth, and Granddad goes along with everything. During the conversation, Jimmy expresses how he wants to collaborate together and record some racist music. But this all changes once Jimmy starts listing off some of his album names and slides them under the door.
I went ahead and brought you a present. Hope you don't mind. These are autographed copies of my albums.
Hey.
Welfare Queen and Cadillac King. Help me. I'm surrounded by...
This shit. Okay, that's enough. Get the f out of my house.
What the hell?
Get out of my way. Robert, no.
Toby, who is this?
With the truth out, Ruckus feels ashamed. But surprisingly, Jimmy doesn't care. He states how at the end of the day, it's just for the love of music. This episode is truly wholesome in a funny way because it's like, I see the bond and I kind of like it, but this nigga racist. So that's the greatness of Boondocks. Together, they then travel to Spoken Hope, where he is introduced to the record label. Everyone is flabbergasted. How could Jimmy be seen with a nigga? They hop into the booth and then proceed to record the most outlandish track ever. They play this song in front of the label and they like it, but there is one problem. Ruckus is a black man. The demographic isn't gonna like this.
Ruckus is more of a racist than anyone in this room, and that
What?
includes me.
Look, Mr. Rebel, I think they might be right.
No, come on now. Beneath your skin, you're as white as any white man, and I'm gonna prove it to you. Tonight, I'm doing the new stuff at Chick Kickers, and I want you to come with me.
Once at the bar, Jimmy hops onto stage. The first half of the song, the audience likes it. It's regular smuggler, racist talk about how he hates N-words and they're lazy, this and that. But midway through the song, something changes, and the audience catches on. He states how he met a black man with a white soul. The crowd did not like this, and this is one of the top Boondocks moments of all time.
What the? That? What in the?
Get that off the stage!
Give him a chance.
Give him a chance? Well, you probably gave Barack Obama a chance too! You sang with you probably voted for one!
No, I didn't.
Chaos breaks out, and this allows Jimmy and Uncle Ruckus to escape by hopping in the limousine. Once everything is settled, they have a conversation, and Jimmy says something that I try to get everyone in 2026 to understand, especially my black people that play into these black fatigue trends and respectability politics.
You remember when I said how we hate the blacks because of their attitudes?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a load of shit. You're just like one of us, Ruckus, but they still hate you.
Ruckus is truly a raccoon because guess what? He don't want to.
Now this real. Just you think about it. Just think about it. This Ruckus, y'all know. And the fact that he still came around them and they still hate him. That's crazy.
Hear this shit. If you don't like niggas, including him, you not a real nigga to him.
I'm sorry, Mr. Rebel,
Real talk.
but I can't make music with you no more because you are not the racist I thought you were.
Ruckus, wait a minute. Come back here.
The next day, Ruckus returns back home where he's calmed down. He ends up having another conversation with Jimmy, and Jimmy just tells him, man, I'm not as racist as I used to be anymore. I don't want to talk about niggas all day. Now, before you think it's going to be a wholesome ending, it's not. The good thing is they still end up making music together, and it's not about black people, but instead, it is racist Mexican music now. What the
Bruh.
Send the back down to Mexico. Send them back down to Mexico where they come from.
Bruh.
I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. This episode most definitely deserves a watch. I think my favorite moment is truly Rebel realizes like my rhetoric is BS. These people are actually racist. They don't care about no person on the inside. And this is what I truly see. All of these big right-wing influencers, they spread.
Yeah, I ain't even gonna lie. I just enjoy watching the video. Lip white as a motherfucker. It might come back, you know what I'm saying? I get to y'all in the next one. I will see. Let's see what else is on this motherfucking list.